Hey guys, welcome back to another round of the Recruiting Corner. Joshua Zimmerman, David Frank, as always. How are things going?
Going well, loving it. Obviously, if you don't know, signing day was this past Wednesday. Awesome news coming as always. No puppies, no crazy over-the-top stories this year, but lots of interesting stuff. We'll get right to it. Coming from inthebleachers.net, great story about the Twitter backlash on commits. It's getting crazy. What's going on?
So basically, we talk about social media quite a bit and the way that social media might be able to help you out as a recruit. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there that use social media for negative impacts. We read it on inthebleachers.net, as David mentioned, and we saw a lot of athletes who were getting negative feedback on their choices of their college commits. So basically, obviously, being signing day, football was the big highlight. There were a lot of athletes that basically took it in the pants for the fact that they made the choices they did, and a lot of people were saying some pretty rude stuff. And that's an unfortunate part of the social media process that you sort of have to be open to and realize when you have an account like that, but it's still unfortunate.
Yeah, no good to see, but there's nothing we can stop about it. It's going to be a trend you're just going to have to learn to deal with. Another story, okay, maybe it wasn't any puppies and crazy stories, but this one's ridiculous. Casanova McKenzie committed to Auburn over Clemson because Auburn was closer to a Chick-fil-A restaurant.
I don't disagree with him. I love Chick-fil-A. It's a fantastic restaurant. Shout out to Chick-fil-A there. But yeah, pretty crazy. We talk about recruits all the time that are going to be choosing their schools because of the academics the schools can offer them, or because of the athletic opportunities. Possibly they want to be near a city, maybe they want to be as far away from a city, they like the region, they like the weather, whatever. Those are important things to focus on. He chose Chick-fil-A. I can't argue with him. I may not understand it, but at the same time, I wanted to be close to a Chick-fil-A too. So
at least he knows what he wants out of the school. Better than some recruits, I suppose. I wanted to follow up on a story from last week. Junior Gandhi was the defensive end recruit we covered who got his scholarship pulled by Georgia Tech. Good news for Junior. He actually committed before signing day, but signed yesterday with the University of North Carolina. Georgia Tech QBs, watch out, Junior's coming for you.
Revenge is sweet.
Yeah. So one important thing to remember is signing day gets tons of publicity. You got kids signing all over the place, but you've got to remember this is just the start of the signing period. This is not the only time to sign a scholarship. So really, what's the news for kids going forward? What's the signing period all about, and what do kids need to know?
Well, basically, you guys understand that February 1st is the first day of signing period. August 1st is the last day of signing period. And there's a marker in there in the beginning, which would be April 11th. So there are different sports signing at all different periods. And, of course, they're for the D1 and D2 divisions as well. Sorry. So basically, just understand that a lot of hype is put around February 1st, but it's not the only day that kids are signing, scholarships. And football wasn't the only signing period that opened yesterday. So there were a lot of other sports that opened up as well.
Right. It's a trickle down. So once you get the top schools committing and locking up their classes, the schools underneath start to see what kids are available. And it's this time as a senior, it's critical you get out there, you contact coaches, because there's a really good chance you can fill a seat that they need because maybe some recruits that they were hoping would fall to them didn't fall. So it's just the start, but you got to get busy.
Definitely.
All right, great article coming from the LA Times. Author Eric Sondheimer wrote a really great piece about, in his opinion, how high school sports aren't becoming as important in the recruiting process, and he's really pushing like the club sports and the travel ball. Why don't you explain what that story is all about?
Well, I agree with his opinion 50%. So basically what he's stating is about a baseball player in Southern California that earned a scholarship to University of San Diego by not playing high school baseball. He hasn't played since his freshman year. Instead, he opted to play some high-level club ball. Most coaches, if you play a sport that has a club, they're going to want to see you play that club. And I agree with that because in club sports, you see the best athletes. You see kids that are probably going to be playing in college. And I believe in the article, the UC Irvine coach said it best, where they want to recruit from the clubs because those are where the best athletes are. Now, when you consider the high school football, high school basketball, high school baseball, High school football doesn't have club sports, so you're still going to get your best athletes there. And basketball and baseball still are pretty heavy, although you do have the AAUs and things, they're still pretty heavy into the high school scene. So I don't see it, but I do see it with all your other high school sports that are more heavily club.
I can't say that you should only play travel or you should only play high school. Play them both. And if you need to make a decision one way or the other, you need to have those discussions with your coaches, both high school and travel.
Communication is going to be key.
All right. Great question coming off our Facebook page again from Joanna Johnson. She's got a daughter who's a freshman tennis player, and she wants to know, what do we need to begin doing?
Joanna, thanks for participating on the Facebook page. You guys all know you can at any point. Basically, for your daughter, the biggest thing is going to be tournaments. Tennis is one of those sports that tournaments count, and coaches are looking for heavy rankings. They want that USTA ranking. They want to see you playing in the regional tournaments. They want to see you playing in the big USTA tournaments. So you're going to have to start planning that out. As you're planning out her tournament circuit, you also want to be looking at all her statistics. She's a freshman this year. You have a great opportunity to start keeping her statistics early. And if you can start keeping them early, you have the opportunity to really show coaches her progression over a several-year period. And then also school lists. Just because she's a freshman doesn't mean that she doesn't know what she wants at this point. Start researching schools. Start possibly taking visits to schools. You have an unlimited amount of unofficial visits to use. I'd think about using some.
Yeah, all great points. I want to go right back to what you were talking about, the rankings and keeping track. Tennis, maybe more so than any other sport, one big win against a highly ranked competitor can do so much for your recruiting. And it's really critical that as an athlete, as someone who wants to play tennis at the college level, you're playing against the best, because you might not beat the best every time, but one or two big wins can really go a long way in getting you a tennis scholarship.
Definitely.
All right, guys, that about wraps it up for this week. Going into another great weekend here on the West Coast. Josh, what are you doing?
Super Bowl, man. We got the Giants-Pats game on Sunday, so it's definitely going to be a fun weekend. Who's your pick?
I want to see the Patriots win. I think they're going to do it. Belichick and Brady going for that redemption against the Giants. I think it's going to happen. What about you?
You know, I'm a Dolphins fan at heart. I have to stick with the AFC East. Although I despise Tom Brady when they're playing the Dolphins, he's an amazing athlete, and looking forward to a Pats win as well. All
right, awesome, guys. Let's wrap it up.
Guys, hey, thanks for tuning in. You guys know you can contact us at any point with questions at JZimmy67, at David R. Frank, always at Athnet. Have a great one.
Thanks.